A wing and a prayer. Perhaps that is how we will get through this show today. But Mark Zinno, a change of scenery, perhaps, for both of us was needed after the last 2 days on the program where it has not been good. It has been a bloodbath. It has been poor. The respective efforts of the both of us here on the Morning Wager. So you at an undisclosed location, I at an undisclosed location. We are hoping out of our respective homes, the picks get better on the program today.
Let me tell you why I suck. Okay. It was not a good. Literally, look. Okay. I kind of got mushed on Penn State. Like we because we are well read in, like we see certain people who are like the kiss of death when they are on a play that you are on. You just know it's just, and you just may as well give
Very
up.
Violent.
Well, it's kind of how I felt last night with Penn State. For a team that outshot their opponent and still lost, was hard to do. Penn State was shooting 50% for a better part of that game and losing by margin. So we got mushed. And we're going to try to avoid being mushed again tonight. So, we need to be a lot better. But when the Portland Trailblazers spanked the Orlando Magic, that was the chef's kiss of, boy, we suck.
Yes,
so
I actually – yes.
You don't have to get in the comment sections and tell us we've been bad. We know we've been bad. We understand it. We're paying attention. I mean, you can tell us if you want, but it's just like, we're well aware. Like, we don't need your help here. We're good.
Yeah, the Orlando Magic were a client play for me last night. I think the clients wish it was not a play for me last night because it did very poorly. However, at least we mitigated the damage. I did have while my play on the show yesterday here, Fort Wayne was also mushed. How about these Cleveland State Vikings, by the way? Really learning to set sail, so to speak. But my client play in college basketball, they could at this point. And you know what? If they win the NCAA tournament, they could buy a new scoreboard at the Wolstein Center. But my client play, which you got if you listened to the college basketball tip-off show, was UCLA last night. Mark, I know you had that big 5% play on Maryland earlier in the week against Wisconsin. Going back to Saturday now, this past Saturday, almost 1 week ago, that is now 6 consecutive unranked home favorites that have covered the number against top 25 teams. So follow that trend along, everybody. It has been a moneymaker through the years. All right, let's now try to make you some money on Friday. A limited college hoop slate, but a good college. We've talked about how somebody needs to redo the scheduling day by day of college basketball. There's always some interesting matchups on a Friday, although there aren't a ton of games. You love the Big East, as you know. It's one of your adopted conferences, and you're taking a look at Georgetown and Butler, a game where seems you don't think there's going to be a lot of scoring.
Yeah, I mean, look, Georgetown's in a tough spot right now, and I really kind of want to try to find a way to play on them. Look, Ed Cooley is a coach I've known well. I've known way back since his Fairfield days. He's turned this Georgetown program around, but in the same respect, he also did lose to DePaul, who is the worst Big East team. And so he's lost 4 or 5. They've lost 3 straight at home, and it's not good right now for Georgetown. I'd love to be able to play on them in this spot. My biggest problem here with Georgetown is their offense is god-awful. If Seton Hall wasn't as bad as they were, at 185th in offensive rating, that's 100 slots worse than the next worst team. Like it is. That's how bad their offense is. They don't shoot the 3 well. They don't do really anything well on the offensive end, and they don't take care of the basketball. They can't rebound. I mean, it's really tough. It's tough for me to look at Georgetown and go, okay, here's what they do. I mean, they turn the ball over a ton on offense. They don't make free throws, only shooting 64.9% in conference play. And so I'm sitting here going, well, I don't want to play on this offense because it's not really good. So let's go over look at Butler. Well, you know what one thing Ed Cooley does? I mean, the Butler offense is okay. It's very middle of the road. It doesn't really excite you in any size, way, shape, or form. Ed Cooley does really well. Play defense.
Please, tell me.
Always has Georgetown is a 3rd-ranked defense in defensive efficiency in conference in the Big East this year, behind Marquette and St. John's. So they're better than Creighton, better than Xavier, better than UConn. So they defend. They defend really, really well. I'm expecting that the home court here will give Georgetown the necessary sort of energy that they need here. I just don't think we'll see a lot of points. I also would endorse under 65.5 in the first half. I think obviously second half's a lot higher scoring, but I'm willing to play the full game here just because if Georgetown's going to win this thing, and I think they can, this has to stay in the 60s on both ends. If Butler gets a 70, I think Georgetown's dead in the water. So if Georgetown wants to give themselves a chance, they got to stay under 139.5 here.
Okay, smash that like button if you're rolling with Zinno on the under Georgetown Butler. Do you work out, by the way? You're in very impressive shape, by the way, with your Army attire on there. Like I'm kind of intimidated by you. I'm gonna bet that pick just because I'm sort of scared, quite frankly, of the person that was giving it out there. So, all right, I've got a game for you from parts unknown to the Ivy League. We go, Mark. Yale and Princeton. Now I'm all thrown off here. I'm in the Central Time Zone, so this is a 5 p.m. Eastern tip-off on ESPN2. So head on over, happy hour. Ask your bartender to throw this game on. Yale's undefeated in Ivy League play, 4-0. They're a 2.5-point favorite on the road. And I think this sets up to be Yale's first conference loss. Who have they played so far in conference play? Well, the 4 worst teams in the Ivy League. Now, Princeton's going to have to hit their threes. I think, Zinno, safe to say you say that about any team you're betting on these days in college basketball, right? Need to hit their threes. But here's something that absolutely astounded me, and I swear I'm not making this up. So in 4 conference games, Princeton is shooting 42% from 2-point range. That is appalling. It can only go one way. That is up. So I think they're going to. I think they'll hit the threes at home. Better inside shooting. Other keynotes to talk about here. Princeton, they're 0-4 ATS in Ivy League play so far. Okay, that's not good. But guess what? They were favored in all 4 of those games. The last time Princeton was a dog was December 21st against Rutgers. Do you know what Princeton did that day? They pulled the outright upset. That was only the second time this season they've been a dog. The first was December 3rd against St. Joe's. Do you know what they did on that fine day? They pulled the outright upset. So I think third time, more of the same. Princeton, I would probably play them on the money line here, but the official show play will be plus 2.5. Not into that Yale thing, to quote American Psycho. There's enough.
Yeah, not into the American Psycho thing either. So,
that's good for you, and good for me, good for all of us. I think that you're not into that because we'd all be in trouble.
Very much so. Very much.
All
so.
right. Okay.
Yeah. On to bigger and better things.
Bigger and better. Well, so you don't care about the Ivy League, do you? Just admit it right now. You don't care about that play. You don't care about Yale. You don't care about Princeton. Just why don't you say
it? Believe it or not, I looked very hard at actually playing an Ivy League game tonight because we're here and we're having fun. I was actually going to take Columbia at home against Harvard.
I wasn't.
Why? Just because I'd love to be able to drop so this is a Harvard bar. I thought there'd be like equations and stuff on the walls. If you get that movie reference, comment down below. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, we almost took a trip to Harvard once when we were supposed to go to Swampscott, but that's a different story for a different time. Anyway, I thought you were going to shock us and you're saying...
Don't ever let Bryan Power be your navigator in GPS, ever.
Well, and especially when, Mark Zinno is ranting about everything going on in the world in the back seat. Okay, let's now get to the NBA, our show best bet. Or is there something you have going on today at wt.buzz/MZ you would like to tell the fine people about?
I have a college basketball play up. One play for tonight. We got to reorient the compass here. We'll keep it small. One play. Go get it. wt.buzz/MZ.
I also have one college basketball play for tonight. I mentioned our only college basketball play last night was a no-sweat situation. UCLA winning by 26 over Oregon. I told you several weeks ago that Oregon team was a fraud, and sure enough, they are. wt.buzz/BP is the place to get and this is a 4% best bet for me over the last 3 weeks. We've hit 63%. We are 64%, pardon me, with 4% CBB or higher. 42, 29, and 2 all sports run. Show best bet, Mark Zinno. The last time we had a winning pick on this show, we gave out the Philadelphia 76ers plus the points against the LA Lakers. They won that game outright. If you go back to last Friday's edition of the Morning Wager, which you can check out here in the archives, We gave out the Philadelphia 76ers plus 9.5 at home against Cleveland. They won that
Yep.
game outright. Don't look
Yes.
now, but a team that Dan Alexander, our good friend, has forsaken, sworn off, wants nothing to
Yes.
do with. The Philadelphia 76ers have won 4 straight games. The Denver Nuggets, on the other hand, have lost a season worst 3 straight games. So many who follow at least my style of handicapping may be thinking, oh, is this a buy low, sell high situation, perhaps? No, it is not, because Denver's laying 9.5 in this spot, and I don't understand why. Their 3 losses, Zinno, have been by an average of 15.7 points per game. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's trust the process.
As simple as I don't know if the Sixers are going to win this game as well as they're playing, but I know the Nuggets aren't going to win by 10. Well, let me rephrase that because somebody will put in the comments section the way I said that. So I want to retract the last 5 seconds and say, I don't feel confident that the Nuggets are going to win this game by 10. So, look, I'm not going to overthink it. The 76ers have been good to us. They've been playing well. There's a couple of other teams. Again, I really, really, really wanted to play against the Raptors again tonight because I'm an absolute glutton for punishment. But who knows? They're a 3.5-point favorite against Toronto. Let's see if they can keep against Chicago. Right? Let's see if they can keep winning. But nonetheless, the 76ers have been good to us. Let's stay on the train until it hits the tracks or falls off the tracks. We'll back the 76ers getting the points here at home tonight.
All right. Smash that like button if you agree with us there. Comment down below. Mark Zinno, just my goodness, and I hope that's not a sign of things to come that the Sixers are making us sick this evening. But comment down below with your thoughts on the plays today. Make sure you're subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. That's going to do it for us. Mark, get them marching, man. I will, on the other hand, walk aimlessly around the earth as I often do here. And we'll be back with you Monday to talk more and hopefully have some winners and laughs to share. We'll be back both in our normal surroundings then. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us. Until next time, let's cash some tickets.
Cash is tickets. Always got my back.